Hello everyone, and welcome to the Halloween Countdown. And I am your host, the Sluglady, and today... the Blair Witch Project. So... I was very excited to see this movie, to finally say that it's off of my list of classic movies that I haven't seen, and there's the remake or sequel or whatever it is in the theaters right now, and it just so happens that many years ago I bought myself the Blair Witch Experience. I got this at Walmart for like dirt cheap. It came with the first movie, the second, and the PC horror games. And the necklace, which I have now lost, which is probably the most annoying thing. Because I really didn't like this movie. And I was when I was watching the movie, I had a feeling that I might not like it because my brother, who loves movies and loves horror movies, told me, Tegan, it's friggin' boring. What he did not tell me is how absolutely grating the characters are on the nerves. I will admit there were some really good parts, but it was in like the last 30 minutes of the film. The first half of the film is just watching these guys like literally get lost in the woods, and not one of them stops to think, hey, you think maybe our compass is broken? Maybe we should stop following the compass or the map and start trying to figure out which way the sun is setting. Because it's not like they don't have light. This isn't a forest where it's so closed off that you cannot see the sun at all. There is light. There is no way they can't tell which direction the sunset is coming from. No way. So, the Blair Witch Project is about 3 students, college students I guess, that head to this little town and try to investigate the myths of the Blair Witch. And they also find out about this dude that murdered a bunch of kids and made one stand in the corner, and one stood in the corner while he killed the other one, and it starts off kind of interesting, but when it gets to the part where they're in the woods, literally screaming at each other, I started turning down the volume and started paying attention to something else as I was watching the movie, because I was getting such a headache just from hearing them scream at each other back and forth about them getting lost in the woods. It finally starts to get interesting when they find the piles of... not piles, the section of the forest that has all of these wooden bundles of sticks that look like figures, but the symbol from the movie, basically. And that's where it starts to get kind of interesting, because it's all very creepy. And then almost immediately it starts to get annoying again, because this girl is like trying to take more and more of like this scenery, and the guys are like, come on, let's go. They have no character. Their characters are grumpy, sometimes voice of reason, and girl that's obsessed with getting the documentary done. That's it. Documentary girl, loudmouth asshole, and sometimes the voice of reason. And there's just so many moments where you just want to slap them. Like, there's one point where they get very freaked out because, okay, so far every night they've spent in the woods, they've been hearing these horrible sounds, and they know that someone must be following them. And then their map goes missing. And they keep saying, no, we don't have the map. We didn't steal it from you. We don't have the map. And the girl's freaking out the whole time. And then you find out that one of them did steal the map. Nothing supernatural about it. He took the map, he threw it in the river, and they all have a massive breakdown and rightly get very angry at him. It's only when like we're over halfway through the movie when one of the guys, that because they are lost in the woods and they know they're being followed, they decide to take shifts of watching. And during his shift, the voice of reason guy ends up going missing, getting taken, and then it starts to get freaky because now they're looking for their friend on top of being lost in the woods, and then this more disturbing stuff starts happening in the next couple days. So even when the friend is gone, it's still very, very annoying. And I kept thinking to myself, please let this build up to something good. So, spoiler warning, because now I'm going to talk about the ending, which was probably the only interesting part of this entire movie. And at the same time, it wasn't. So, we get to this house. They come across this house that they can hear their friend calling from. Oh, actually, before that, I should say the one thing that was actually kind of disturbing was the day before, the girl found a bundle of sticks tied up with pieces of her friend's shirt. And she doesn't tell the loudmouth jerk about it. She takes it over to the side, away from the tent, opens it up, and there's bits and pieces of her friend inside of the bundle. I'm not sure what kind of bits and pieces, but that was definitely blood. And she realizes at this point he must be dead, and doesn't tell the loudmouth jerk. And there's this one moment, and again it starts out being kind of freaky, and then it goes to being dead boring again, because the next time we see her after she's had this like gigantic crying breakdown and she's washed her hands, we see her the next night talking into the camera how she's sorry and that this is all her fault. And you'd think it would be interesting, but it really isn't. And then finally we get to the end, which is that they hear their friend's voice calling for help, and it leads them to this house, this worn down house that has fallen apart, and they're searching up and down. They both have cameras at this point. The loudmouth jerk is holding one camera, she's holding the big camera. I don't know why. I don't know why they have both cameras out. There was a reason for having at least one camera out, but I don't get why there's both cameras at this point. And the loudmouth friend gets down to the basement before the girl does, and then the camera drops. And then we go back to the girl, and she slowly makes her way downstairs while screaming the names of the boys, and she sees her friend, well, we see her friend through the camera, standing in the corner, just like how we were told in the story of the murderer who was murdering the kids. And then she drops the camera and screams. And then that's it. I knew about the corner scene. I knew that there was a scene that involved someone staring into the corner and mumbling, and there was like sounds happening in the background. And when I first saw this, when I first saw that scene, it was a parody, and even that kind of made me scared because I'm like, oh my gosh, why is he standing in the corner? What's about to happen? And then nothing happens. I was so annoyed. I went onto the Wikipedia page to find out what the fudge did I miss. And, well, first of all, the bits and pieces of the friend turned out to be teeth and nails and maybe a bit of his tongue. And apparently when they dropped the camera, they were attacked by something. I didn't get that at all. I just saw them drop the camera. That's all. I heard them curse. Actually, I'm not even sure if I heard them curse. They've been cursing this whole movie, so they probably did. Which, by the way, I don't have anything against curses. I just have something against someone screaming the same word over and over again, regardless of the word, in a high-pitched, annoying voice. I'm so annoyed with this movie. I really am. I sat through all of that screaming. I had such a headache. And finally we get to this scene. Finally we get to this thing that everyone tells me about is so freaky. And nothing happens. Nothing. They dropped the camera. I couldn't even tell that something attacked them. I just saw them drop the camera. For all I know, they saw their friend was dead in the corner or something, and he dropped the camera out of shock. Now, I could have watched the second one. I could have very easily watched the second one, but no. No. I probably will eventually, but that was a very, very stupid movie. And I didn't want another headache, so I'm gonna go watch something else. And I'm still really mad that I can't find that necklace. Gosh dang it, that was the best part of this box. This is the Sluglady. That was the Blair Witch Project. Ugh. Remember to like, fave, subscribe, all that jazz. And I will see you guys tomorrow.